President Donald Trump's mass firings suffered a legal setback. We learned more details about Gene Hackman's death. And a parade of planets will light up the skies tonight. That's some of what we'll get to on the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn, in for Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, February 28th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Number 1. A judge temporarily blocked President Donald Trump's mass firings of federal workers. Thousands of federal workers have been let go since Trump returned to the White House last month. It's part of his administration's mission to slash government spending. But the firings hit a significant roadblock yesterday. A federal judge ruled that some terminations at agencies, including the Defense Department, were probably illegal. U.S. District Judge William Alsop said the Office of Personnel Management does not have the authority to hire and fire employees at an agency other than its own. He told the agency to rescind its orders that initiated the mass firings of probationary workers across the government. It's unclear how soon and whether the ruling might play out for employees who already have been let go. Workers who have been fired in recent days reacted with joy to the judge's ruling, with some trying to work out whether it could get them their jobs back. Trump met with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer yesterday, and he has another big meeting today. That's number 2. Starmer's was the most recent in a rapid-fire stretch of White House visits from U.S. allies. They have been reeling from Trump's embrace of Russian President Vladimir Putin amid Trump's efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Starmer used a mix of flattery, deference, and even a royal invitation to London as he worked to keep Trump from turning on Ukraine.
This is a letter from His Majesty the King. It's an invitation for a second state visit. This is really special. This has never happened before. This is unprecedented. And I think that just symbolises the strength of the relationship between us. So this is a very special letter.
The diplomacy will continue today when Trump gets a visit from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and it could get pretty tense. Trump has lashed out at the Ukrainian leader in recent weeks, calling him a dictator and falsely accusing Ukraine of starting the war with Russia. Number 3. The deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife remain under investigation. Yesterday morning, Hannah shared the breaking news that Hackman, an Oscar-winning actor, and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, had been found dead at their New Mexico home. Later in the day, officials had some updates. They said that both Hackman and Arakawa had been dead for some time before neighborhood security discovered their bodies. Arakawa, who was 65, was found on the bathroom floor near some scattered pills. Hackman, who was 95, was found in the mudroom. Officers investigating the scene said it appeared as though Hackman had fallen suddenly. Officials said there appeared to be no sign of a gas or carbon monoxide leak, and there were no apparent signs of forced entry or foul play. The investigation is continuing. Iowa lawmakers voted to remove transgender people's civil rights protections. That's number 4. The Iowa Senate and House of Representatives debated for several hours yesterday before passing the legislation overwhelmingly along party lines. Ahead of the vote, protesters packed the galleries and hallways of the Capitol in Des Moines. You heard them at the top of this item. If the legislation is signed by the governor, Iowa would be the first state to revoke non-discrimination protections for transgender people. It follows recent actions by President Trump to roll back transgender rights. And many Republican-led states, including Iowa, have passed laws restricting sports participation or bathroom access for trans students. Number 5. The Justice Department released more Jeffrey Epstein files last night. Attorney General Pam Bondi released hundreds of pages of documents tied to the investigation of the convicted sex offender who killed himself in prison in 2019. The case has been a fixation for right-wing pundits and conspiracy theorists in recent years who have pushed for the release. But after a lot of hype, there wasn't much new in the files. The release included flight logs from Epstein's private plane and transcripts from victim interviews, but much of it had already made its way into the public domain. Bondi blamed FBI agents in New York for preventing the disclosure of more information. She demanded that the FBI hand over the full and complete Epstein files by this morning. So more files could be released soon. A rare 7-planet parade will light up the sky tonight. That's number 6. Most of the planetary alignment will be visible to the naked eye just after sunset. Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter will be visible without a telescope. Saturn will be faint and difficult to view. Uranus and Neptune require dark skies to be visible, and Mercury will have already set before it gets dark. That means you won't be able to see all 7 planets in an arc at one time, but it will be possible in the whole US to see all the planets within a 6 or 7 hour time span. If you want to take in the show, try to get away from city lights and bring a telescope if possible. You can find more tips for seeing the parade in our newsletter today. Just follow the link in our show notes. And at number 7, it's nearly time for the 97th Academy Awards. It has been a crazy Oscars season. One of the initial frontrunners for Best Picture, Emilia Perez, had its campaign implode after offensive tweets from its star Carla Sofia Gascon were resurfaced. Anora then became the favored movie after some surprise wins at other major award ceremonies. But over the past week or two, Conclave and The Brutalist have been sharing the top honors. So the Best Picture race is really hard to predict. In our newsletter today, you can remind yourself of all the nominees. And there's a quiz you can take which tells you which nominated movies you should stream before the ceremony, so you can get cramming. Also, make sure to check out Post Report's latest episode on the Oscars. Martine and our colleagues from the Style section unpack which films are worth watching and which ones are most likely to win. The Oscars airs Sunday on ABC starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Hannah will be back here on Monday to let you know what happens. That's the show for this week. The associate producer of The 7 is Taylor White. The staff writers are Jamie Ross and Hannah Jewell. John Taylor is our editor. Additional editing by me, Christina Quinn. Copy editing by Melissa No and Thomas Haliba. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. Renita Jablonski is our director of audio. I'm Christina Quinn. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. We'll meet you back here on Monday.